We're so used to logging on without paying a dime that we treat the web like a permanent public utility. But that era is ending, and the global network we've relied on for 2 decades is splitting apart. For 20 years, the math behind our digital lives was remarkably simple. We handed over our personal data, and in return, the tech giants gave us their services for free. It felt totally egalitarian. A corporate banker walking through Manhattan could pull out their phone and scroll the exact same blue app, the same video feeds, and the same microblogging sites as a college student navigating traffic in Mumbai. Both accessed the exact same global engineering stack, and neither paid an upfront fee. But this perceived equality masked a massive commercial surveillance machine. Now, regulators in Washington, D.C. are dismantling that very machine, and their local policy choices are sending shockwaves through the rest of the world. The catalyst here is the U.S. Federal Trade Commission. Historically, if a major tech company misused user data, the FTC would hand down a massive billion-dollar fine. It was treated as a simple cost of doing business. The current FTC has abandoned that playbook. Instead of issuing tickets after the fact, they are pursuing structural injunctions to physically block the roads, preventing companies from collecting certain types of user data in the first place. This new strategy takes direct aim at commercial surveillance. By restricting the highly targeted algorithms that monetize user behavior, the regulator is severing the core mechanical link that turns our attention into advertising revenue. Most tech giants operate on a single global engineering stack to keep costs down. Building and maintaining separate, privacy-compliant architectures for different countries is a financial nightmare. So, when the FTC forces a rewrite of that central code to protect American teenagers, they are effectively rewriting the rules for every user on the planet. To understand why that breaks the global system, look at this graphic. This scale visualizes the concept of cross-subsidization. High purchasing power users in the West produced incredibly valuable data, allowing platforms to charge advertisers premium rates. That massive surplus paid the enormous infrastructure bills to connect the developing world. Look at the bar chart we've built here to track average revenue per user. An American scrolling social media generates well over $100 annually. An Indian user on the exact same platform generates only a few dollars. For years, the Indian user has been a passenger in a car paid for by the American market. Now watch what happens when we add the costs of storage, bandwidth, and content moderation as a flat horizontal line. If the FTC breaks the targeting engine, the revenue from those high-value American users plummets below that maintenance threshold. Analysts call this intersection the ARPU cliff. With the global subsidy dried up, platforms face an impossible business decision. They have to either withdraw from low-margin markets, drastically degrade the quality of their services, or finally put up the paywalls they've avoided for 2 decades. The collapse of the free model in the global south is a matter of basic math. Without that American surplus to balance the books, maintaining these platforms becomes an inescapable arithmetic impossibility. This puts massive pressure on New Delhi. The Indian government has already begun articulating its own vision for digital sovereignty to protect its population. Their primary tool is the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, a strict framework intended to create accountability and give citizens explicit control over how their information is harvested. But when India's domestic privacy laws collide with Washington's aggressive structural injunctions, they create a brutal regulatory pincer movement. U.S. tech giants find their international revenue models squeezed entirely out of existence. By aggressively moving to shield its citizens from foreign data harvesting, India risks inadvertently accelerating its own digital isolation, leaving its vast population locked out of the global services they rely on. We are looking at a deeply divided future. In high-value geographies, we will likely see a premium West, where users access highly polished, algorithmically refined experiences, largely gatekept by monthly subscriptions. In contrast, developing markets will transition to a utility South. These will be strictly functional digital environments, stripped of the venture capital subsidized bells and whistles, and designed to prioritize basic connectivity over engagement farming. To survive this shift, developing nations must stop operating as beta colonies reliant on foreign algorithms. They must begin architecting localized data fortresses built for their specific economic realities. India has already proven this is possible. Public digital infrastructure, like the Unified Payments Interface, entirely displaced private monopolists in banking, while the open network for digital commerce is doing the same for retail. The next step is applying that exact blueprint to social media and communication. The 20-year experiment of a unified, globally subsidized web is closing its doors. Nations waiting for the free lunch to return will find themselves stranded on the wrong side of the divide. The only way forward is building the infrastructure to cook your own meals.